a new band of rebels arose who were determined to carry the fight to Jerusalem.
The Sicarii.
To the Sicarii, anyone who wasn't fighting the Romans was a collaborator and worthy of death.
Many were slain every day, and the fear many were in was worse than the calamity itself.
All right, first and foremost, to give all praises, honor, and glory unto the Most High God, Yahweh. The name is only begotten Son, Yahweh Shai, who the world enemy calls Christ. Brother Chief Priest Alizar Van Loy, about to hit y'all off with another Friday night class, first of the so-called new year, through the Spirit empowered by the grace and mercy of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Good.
Salakia. Salakia. So, yeah, we're gonna deal with a couple things tonight. First and foremost, I know everybody's seen probably by now this madman. There's a madman on YouTube. There's a problem with YouTube. You know, sometimes, you know, you could just, you know, it's just free range.
Well, you can't respond to every YouTube. Nut.
Yeah, that's why you can't respond to every nut on YouTube. I try to tell niggas this. You know what I mean? No, you don't listen to me. You know, more nuts make videos about. I'm supposed to respond to everybody, but it was so outrageous, the claim made in this video. I'm talking about, it was so outrageous, so insane, so incredible. I felt compelled by the Spirit and power of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai to respond to this nonsense. All right, I felt compelled. Okay, and it would be this heresy that's came out talking about it's a sin to ejaculate into your wife. Hold on. Ejaculating. This idiot, this was wrong with YouTube. Any nigga that want to could get on YouTube and make a video and teach whatever he wants. Were people believing him and giving heed to him on his comment board? Anybody? Deacon Akkad, do you have any information on that?
If anybody was, yeah, he said he's getting calls all the time. He said he's been getting so many calls now. People they want to purify themselves and not have sex.
So this guy, they want to purify themselves. This individual is teaching that ejaculation is a sin, ejaculating into your wife is a sin, having children through the form of ejaculating into a woman are sins. This is what this guy is teaching. He's teaching this. There's a clinical issue, inflammation that happens. What do we call it on the streets? Who knows what I'm talking about? Blue balls. That's real. If you don't ejaculate, that a serious problem can occur. He's saying that you can have sex with your wife, but not ejaculate. What about what they call the premature ejaculation? How can you be engaged? What if you have a nocturnal emission, or as the Bible calls it, a chance by night? So you mean to tell me that I had a wet dream, so I sinned, but I didn't, it wasn't voluntarily? Just the entire logic of this and his thesis statement is so flawed. Y'all got points?
I was gonna
so like
say,
a captain.
I was gonna say, well, it almost seems as though with what he was saying, because he was saying forcibly implanted into your wife. So it's almost like your wife would then have to catch you in a chance by night or in a wet dream to then put it into herself then, because you're unconscious and not.
So my thing is, so if I'm having sex with the woman and she's asking me to ejaculate into her, is that a sin now?
Right.
Because they asked for that.
Right. and then in the video, he points to his daughter and says, I know you guys are thinking that, oh, he's the hypocrite because you see this one running around. He says, there's not going to be any more of these running around. And they're not going to be made like this. You see that?
He calls his daughter unclean. And I told this nigga last night on the con, he better apologize to his child. That's disgusting and despicable for him to look at his child, a seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, and to tell her that she's unclean? Go ahead, officer.
There's they put a new study out saying if you ejaculate more than, I believe it was like 20 times, you have a less chance of getting prostate cancer.
You see that? You making sure you flowing. That's stopping. This nigga wants you to get blue balls, prostate cancer, not have no damn babies. Sound like some kind of damn homo. You can't tell me that doctrine. I said ejaculating into your wife is sin, period. You know who will say that? A nigga that don't understand the laws of God at all. And he's off into some Kabbalah. You know what he's teaching you? He's teaching you Kabbalah. I get, you talk to him in the messenger, Deacon. Yeah. Deacon called me on the phone, reading me the messages with this nigga. I said, this nigga's into the Kabbalah. As soon as he started explaining to me what's going on, I said, that's the Kabbalah. As soon as you start talking about the tree of life has to do with Kundalini and orgasms, you're out of your mind. Give me the book of Ezekiel 30 real quick. Go to the end. Or 31, Salakia. The tree of life, or the tree of knowledge of good and evil, is not the Kundalini. It ain't got nothing to do with no damn chakras. It ain't got nothing to do with no damn orgasm. Anybody teaching you that is basing it upon some black witchcraft, black magic created that the Amalekites propagate, the so-called Jewish man. That has nothing to do with the Bible. It's not in here at all. Where's the Kundalini in the Bible? Can you show it to me? That's madness. That's an East Indians doctrine. They believe in the Kundalini and all type of sexual magic in East India. Well, we are not the people of East India. We are the people of Israel. So we don't believe in that madness, man. So if you could give me that in the book of Ezekiel, like real quick, then we're going to go into it.
You said 31 and what, 18?
What, like 18, Con?
To whom art thou thus like in glory and the greatness among the trees of Eden?
Yeah, Salakia, let me take a look at it real quick. This guy's is ridiculous. And it's sad that we even have to deal with some madness on this level. Was it 31? So like Ezekiel 31, and let's go to 18, Con.
This is Ezekiel chapter 31, verse 18.
Read.
To whom art thou thus like in glory and in greatness among the trees of Eden? Yet shalt thou be brought down with the trees of Eden unto the nether parts of the earth. Thou shalt lie in the midst of the uncircumcised.
Read on.
With them that be slain by the sword.
Read on.
This is Pharaoh and all his multitude, saith the Most High.
So it tells you right there in Ezekiel 30 that the trees of Eden represent nations. So the tree of life and the tree of knowledge of good and evil have absolutely, positively nothing to do with having an orgasm.
Well, yeah, because he said, let me stand up.
Go ahead, come on.
He said that the tree of good and evil was having an orgasm because when you have an orgasm, it enlightens you. Because that's what he said. He said, when you have sex, the Bible says, and he knew her, and he knew Eve, his wife, right? So it's then he also said the other trees were different experiences that came with creation. Just so you guys know.
It sound like about a nutty nigga to you. Sound like one to me. He's teaching a class with his daughter sitting next to him, who's a little girl, a little toddler, and then he's gonna point at her and call. What is wrong with this nigga? Why is she sitting up at the table with you, teaching the class in the first place? These guys, Most High. Give me that heaping unto themselves teachers having itching ears, please, too, real quick. And then we just going to get into it. Because I can't wait to really get into the claims that he made and demonstrate through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemi Shai how insane this nigga is. And how much he just doesn't know the Bible. And he got upset with me because I made a statement towards him. He got upset with me because I said this is why the Levitical priesthood is important, because of things like this. Well, he said we're under the Melchizedekite priesthood now. And first off, that's always been out. The Melchizedekite priesthood is older than the priesthood, number one. Number two, the Melchizedekite priesthood is dealing with the spiritual temple, not the physical. The physical temple and the physical sacrifices is Levi's portion. And when you're dealing with uncleanness, ceremonially, you're dealing with a Levitical tradition. That was the whole point I was making. So he's not understanding the Levitical traditions and bylaws. He doesn't get it. He's reading it in the Bible and has no idea. He can't rightly divide it. It's like some guys with the mixed fabric thing. You know, you confront somebody on mixed fabric, they don't understand what's going on with the mixed fabrics because they're not really going into the law like they're supposed to. It's simple. You open that tag, it says 60% cotton, 40% polyester. Don't put that mug on. You see what I'm saying? That's off, period. It's not talking about additions you may, if you sew an additional thing onto the garment, that's not a part of that garment. It's not interwoven. If it's interwoven, that's what it is, a mixed fabric. Because people would cheat that way sometimes. You see what I'm saying? Put some cut on it, some silk, you know, with extra polyester. That's a fraud. That piece of clothing you put on, that's a fraudulent piece of clothing. You see what I'm saying? That's the point. People don't get it because they're not understanding the Levitical ordinances. You see what I'm saying? They're not understanding those because we're not subject to them, especially to that degree. We're not subject to all of them, especially with dealing with the temple. You know how we would deal with the temple. We don't have a physical temple. So we're not subject to those ordinances. So niggas is talking about these ordinances that have to do with the physical temple and not even understanding and trying to take it and make it into something else. So we're going to talk about that, but give me that scripture real quick.
This is the book of 2 Timothy chapter 4, verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine.
They will not. This dude, he's not enduring sound doctrine. We know the law is a good doctrine. He doesn't endure that. He doesn't understand it. He doesn't know what's going on. He's teaching Kabbalah. He's out of his mind. And any person that follows him is out of their mind. Any nigga that wants to walk around the rest of his life with blue balls is out of his damn mind.
God.
I remember, I don't want to tell the story too much, man, but I'm going to just tell it like this. I was in high school. It was a time where I thought something was seriously wrong with me. I thought I had gotten something horrible in the streets. You see what I'm saying? Behind a situation like this. And it turned out, you know, that's all it was. But that's how it, you mean to tell me I got to walk around feeling like that? Or else I'm sinning? Man, come on, man. Are you kidding me? This is a nigga that has no business picking up a Bible and teaching it to anybody. You're not qualified to teach your own kids, man. That's pathetic. Go ahead, finish that.
It says, but after their own lust.
After their own lust. This is a nigga that just loves pulling out, apparently. You see what I'm saying? He's a nigga that just don't like to finish. So now he's pushing that on all of us. A nigga that wants an excuse not to be fruitful and multiply. Because ain't going to be no more of these. Go ahead.
It says, but after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers.
They are heaping to themselves teachers after their own lust. They're making the Bible be whatever they want it to be. And they're bringing in additional things that have nothing to do with the Bible, that are contrary to the Bible, in order to further some type of weirdo agenda. And it's sick and it's satanic. Go ahead.
It says, having itching ears.
Having itching ears. That's what that guy has. And anybody that's dumb enough to follow this unscripturally sound and substantiated doctrine, you just have itching ears. God. You just want to hear a new thing. Oh, this is the new thing. I'm gonna get with this. Like the scriptures was broke or something. Right, read?
And they shall turn away their ears from the truth.
They're turning away their ears from the truth when God said to go into your wife and ejaculate inside of her. And that's one of the greatest things that you can do is ejaculate inside of your wife and create a holy and righteous seed. That's a noble and mighty thing to do, and the Lord bless you for doing that. It's the first thing he told you to do. Go ahead.
It shall be turned unto fables.
And shall be turned unto fables. And he's teaching a Kabbalistic fable. Make no mistake about it. Niggas start talking about the tree of knowledge of good and evil is an orgasm. That's Kabbalah. That's Kundalini. That's witchcraft. You know who practices Kabbalah? Who's a famous Kabbalistic practitioner that anybody in the room knows about? Who knows an old whore, an old decrepit corpse of a whore named Madonna? We familiar with? She practices Kabbalah. So that should tell you everything you need to know about Kabbalah. That this dead body, that's a ghoul, this ghoul whore. If she's into it, I want to stay far away from whatever she's into.
God.
Period. She can't be into anything righteous, holy, beneficial, or good. She just can't be. All right? She's like the bride of Beetlejuice. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
It says, but what's thou in all things, endure afflictions.
We got to watch. You have to watch for a crazy nigga that gets on YouTube and just loses his mind. You got to watch for that. That's it on that. Right? We gonna get into it. Give me Genesis 1:28.
This is the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 28. And God blessed them, and God said unto them, be fruitful and multiply.
Be fruitful and that's the first thing mankind is told in the Bible, Genesis 1.
Well, yeah,
be fruitful and multiply. Go ahead.
He said there was another way that we were making babies in that time. It wasn't by sex.
He's a liar.
And Satan had sex with Eve while she was on her, and popped her cherry to issue a flow of blood. And so when Adam had sex with her, he spilled his semen on her bloody flower, and that's what this curse was all about. But that's what he's saying. He's saying that there was another way for us to have babies at the time. So therefore, when she sinned, that's why he started talking about in childbirth, you're gonna have pain.
This is a nigga that's really crazy.
All I gotta say is proof.
Let me ask somebody in the room. How is a plant made? Who knows?
With a seed.
A seed in soil. So how is anything else made any other way? Everything in creation is seed going into soil. Cap.
And you gotta shove that seed into the soil.
You can't just the seed just don't. Hey, look, the seed just don't go into the soil.
Real quick.
Go ahead,
the parable that Yahweh Shai spoke about. You got seed that was sown on good ground, shallow ground, stony ground. Sometimes, I mean, it's a possibility where a seed you could just drop it. You know, you got a handful of seeds, you drop it, and then people come,
it
they might step
something
on it. And you know what I'm saying? To get down further,
it's got to be rooted.
It's got to be rooted in there. You got to take that. I remember that going, doing botany practices. When you was in school, you got to take that seed on that good soil. You got to shove that thing down into that soil.
Talk about it.
You know what I'm saying? You got to shove it down in there. That's force. That's force.
That's force. Right? Wait. I thought it wasn't force.
Thought it wasn't force. So that's cold.
I can't even believe a nigga got on the internet and said this. So what is the word husband? It's we shall become what? Husband and wife, right? Husband. What does husband mean? Who knows what a husbandman is?
It's dealing with worker.
Tilling the ground. The tiller of the ground. So if you are a woman's husband, you till her ground. You plant seeds in her ground.
Yeah, and that's why the womb is likened unto fertility. That's why you say, are you fertile? A woman having fertile problems about fertility problems. Babies.
Talk about it. You see that? So what is this nigga talking about? That's the only way that's ever displayed in the Bible to procreate. The way every creation that the Most High has is procreating. A man plants a seed in a woman. And it goes into an egg, and that egg develops. Every living creature, the plants, all by this same mechanism come into existence. How is we any different than that? For you to tell me that there was a different way with some type of in vitro fertilization, white man science and Satanism, is that it? Because what he's pushing is white man new age nonsense, man. Who's seen what's that movie, Demolition Man? Where she was like, remember they was having a virtual sex? And Stallone was like, man, I'm trying to get that. You know what I mean? She's like, no. Oh no, we can't do that. There's diseases. And so they must have been making back. This is the white man's agenda. Yeah. For you to stop having the black man stop having sex. What he's not been able to stop the black man from doing in 500 years is having sex and making babies. This nigga, he's the new nigga. He's got it for him. Yeah,
he's for that. Remember that I told you about that man-made how they making babies now?
That's right.
So he's for that.
You see, he is. He must be because that's clean. That's clean. That's clean. Apparently, according to this idiot, that's clean. This is a Negro that's just stupid.
Come.
That's just dumb. Okay.
His eye is evil towards the woman that lied to his bosom.
Yeah, that's right. He just don't want to have sex with this girl or something. That's well, they sound gay to me. It sounds gay to me. I'm just gonna come straight. You sound like a fag pushing this doctrine. That's just what it. Give me the book of Sirach 15 and 20. In the spirit, through the spirit, too. This doctrine is so lightweight. It's insane how lightweight this doctrine is, and how easily it is to just slide through. It's like a hot knife through butter. That's this doctrine. This don't even make any sense for a nigga to get on YouTube and come with this. And anybody who follows this, you blame you're an idiot, man.
God.
Most High didn't want you. If you fall off into this madness.
God.
Go ahead.
This is the book of Sirach, chapter 15, verse 20.
Read.
He hath commanded no man.
The Most High has commanded no man what?
To do wickedly.
He's never commanded a man to do wickedly. The Most High does not command you to do wickedly. Period. Read.
Neither hath he given any man license to sin.
And he doesn't give license to sin. He doesn't give it. You know what this cuts? This cuts so many things. It cuts, of course, this doctrine. It also cuts these idiotic anti-polygynist doctrine. For somebody to say, this is the permissible will, it's permitted for you to have multiple wives, but you shouldn't. No, he's never given you a man a license to do wickedly or sin. So if he said you can have multiple wives, it can't be a sin to have multiple wives. That's impossible. Anything he's allowing us to do, that's not a sin. People are stupid, and they have their own emotions, and they just want to be somebody, and they want their feelings to count. So they try to twist the Bible and add unto the word of God to fit their own agenda. Most High will deal with everybody who does.
That's right.
Everybody who does that is going to get dealt with. Thus saith the Lord.
Damn right.
The last thing that Black and Hispanic people need is more, excuse my language, bullshit. That's the last thing we need. We didn't have all this. We didn't went to church and clapped and sung and praised and bowed to white Jesus and listened to everything in the educational system. The last thing we need is some more bullshit. That's the last thing on the planet Earth we need as a people. Please don't give it to us. Please, please, please. That was it on that. Let's go to the book of Genesis 38, 9 to 10, please. So remember now, Most High has not commanded anybody to sin. He hasn't given license. He hasn't commanded anybody to do wickedly. Remember that. Read.
This is the book of Genesis 38, 9. And Onan knew that the seed should not be his. And it came to pass when he went in unto his brother's wife.
So he goes into this woman. Read.
That he spilled it on the ground.
He pulled out. Spilled his seed on the ground. What this guy is, minus spilling your seed on the ground, he just don't want you to spill your seed at all. But he spilled his seed on the ground. Right? Read.
Lest that he should give seed to his brother.
Read on.
And the thing which he did displeased the Most High.
So wait a minute. God is mad that this man didn't ejaculate into this woman. The same thing that this man is calling sin, the Most High is mad at. If he would have followed the directions of this nigga, which he did, the Most High is mad at him. You see what I'm saying? He's supposed to ejaculate into that woman according to the laws of God. That's what's supposed to happen. The Lord does not command you to do wickedly. So if he commands you to ejaculate into a woman, which Onan at this point was commanded to do, it cannot possibly be a sin. It's impossible. His doctrine is already done in 3 scriptures. His doctrine is over. But we're going to keep going. Finish that.
It says, wherefore he slew him also.
Now, all the specialness, all whatever little tricks he's going to try to play and pull, whatever Kabbalistic book, and I don't care, between Sirach 15 to 20 and Genesis 38, 9 to 10, it's over. It's done. The whole premise of that video is out of the window, and he's a goddamn liar. Based upon just really the 2 scriptures, right? The Lord, read it. What did he do?
It says, wherefore he slew him.
God slew this man because he didn't ejaculate into this woman. He killed him. You see that? But this is what this guy wants us to do. Satan. All that nigga is another black devil. Give me Deuteronomy 25, 5-6. Remember now, he has not commanded us to do evil or wickedly at any time. All right? So we're going to go into the law. We're going to show you how much this guy don't know the law. We're going to go into the gospel. We're going to show he don't know the gospel because he put his foot in his mouth and said some outlandish, retarded things about the gospel also that he doesn't know.
25:5.
5-6. Go ahead.
This is the book of Deuteronomy 25 and 5. If brethren dwell together.
If brethren dwell together, two men dwell together, read.
And one of them die. Have no child.
Read.
The wife of the dead shall not marry without unto a stranger. Her husband's brother shall go in unto her.
Her husband's brother shall. This is a commandment. Her husband's brother shall go in under her, meaning have sex with this girl. And then what should he do? Should he give himself blue balls? Let's find out. Go ahead.
And take her to him to wife.
Keep going.
And perform the duty of an husband's brother unto her.
Ooh. Perform that duty. That's the same duty we just read about in Ezekiel 38. The duty is putting a seed in this woman. That's the duty. When this is a commandment. We're not commanded to do evil or wicked. So this can't be evil or wicked. Is that it on that?
You said to 6.
To 6.
Verse 6. And it shall be that the firstborn which she bears shall succeed in the name of his brother.
That's right.
Which is dead, that his name be not put out of Israel.
You see that? So this guy is out of his damn mind. Let's go to Ruth. Let's go to Ruth 4:13-14. Book of Ruth, where this happened. Where this is the way King David, King Solomon, Yahushua, who the world calls Christ. We're all born through what we're getting ready to read about right now. Asar.
So does that mean after he has a child with her, was that to name the child after the dead husband, or that the Most High was going to bless this child to be prosperous?
This child was going to be called the seed of this dead man. He's going to get the inheritance that was supposed to go to him. You see what I'm saying? That's basically what it's talking about. We see that in the case of Ruth. We also see that, of course, with Judah, and we see it with Yahushua, Joseph, his father. You see what I'm saying? Joseph was his physical father, but Salakia, Joseph had a physical father, and he had a father that he was raised up in the name of. That's what you see in the book of Luke 3, and Matthew 1 is the physical seed line, right? But go ahead.
This is the book of Ruth 4:13. So Boaz took Ruth.
Boaz took Ruth, right? Read.
And she was his wife. And when he went in unto her,
when he has sex with her, what did he do?
The Most High gave her conception.
God gave her conception, not through in vitro. Read it again, man. Did this nigga read this in the Bible?
No.
Go ahead.
This is Ruth 4:13. So Boaz took Ruth.
Boaz took Ruth. What does that mean? He grabbed this woman by the arm. You my woman, right? Read. Hold on, not rape now. Let's not let nobody get carried away. Okay, a woman like that, when you know what I'm saying? You my woman. Any real man knows that, right? Okay, that's not a homo, understands that, right?
Like Friday, like, hey, was it like this? Or was it like
That's right. That's right.
This is Ruth 4:13. So Boaz took Ruth, and she was his wife.
And she was his wife. Read.
And when he went in unto her,
and his penis is inside her vagina. Okay, let's not get it twisted. Read.
The Most High gave her conception.
So while his penis is inside her vagina, he ejaculates into her, so this can't be a sin because God gave her conception. The Lord ordained a child to be born. That child's name was Obed, who had a child named Jesse, who had a child named David, who had a child named Solomon. And we're talking about a long list of great men here. You mean to tell me in something sinful brought them forth? See, I'm going to tell you what cuts all this. David, who was Solomon's mother? Come on, who knows Solomon's mom? You got it. You're there. You're there back there. You're there. You almost said it. Boy, if somebody at the table got it, who got it at the table? Solomon's mother. No. You don't know Solomon's mother? Come on, man. We don't know the story of Solomon? Come on, y'all. Y'all about to see. I see everybody going Bathsheba.
Bathsheba.
Bathsheba. Bathsheba, the wife of whom? Who was she the wife of? Uriah the Hittite. Okay. So she was the wife of Uriah the Hittite. You said what?
Mother.
Solomon's mother, yes. But here's what we have to understand about that story. How did David go about obtaining Bathsheba? Through adultery, wickedness, right? So here's how the Most High did it. That first child died. You see that? Then after Uriah was dead, and after now he initially adultery, but now her husband's dead, so now it's okay. Not you, Uriah. Now it's okay to take the woman. Now that her husband is dead, he got a seed named Solomon, who was the king. You see what I'm saying? So that wicked seed didn't make it. That initial seed, that seed of an adulterous bed, didn't make it. You see what I'm saying? So we see how the Most High deals with the wicked seed versus the righteous one. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
It says, and she bare a son.
Uh-huh.
That was on that. 13.
And she bare a son. When he ejaculated into her, it was of God. Period. Anything this nigga's talking about is beat to it. That was 14?
No.
Go to 14.
And the woman said unto Naomi,
Uh-huh.
Blessed be the Most High, which has not left thee this day without a kinsman, that his name may be famous in Israel.
Oh, that his name may be famous. Fame was gotten by this name, right? So let's go to the book of Sirach now. Back to Sirach 26 and 20 to 21 in the book of Sirach.
This is Sirach 26 and 20. It says, when thou hast gotten a fruitful possession.
When y'all have gotten a fruitful possession, read.
Through all the field.
Through the field, read.
Sow it with thine own seed.
The Bible is telling you to sow a field with your own seed. Let's see if this is talking about apples and oranges and peaches or people. Read.
Trusting in the goodness of thy stock.
The goodness of thy stock. Not apple, not just Washington apple seeds you got. It said the trusting in the goodness of thy stock. The fact that you're an Israelite. Trust in that and sow that field with seed. Meaning every time you get a wife, knock her up. Get her pregnant, have kids. That's what is getting told right here. Not through in vitro, but this nigga say it's wicked. Did he read this in the Bible? Go ahead.
It says, so thy race which thou leavest shall be magnified.
Shall be magnified. Read.
Having the confidence of their good descent.
The confidence of their good descent. That they were made by Abraham having sex with Sarah and having Isaac. And Isaac having sex with Rebekah and having Jacob. And Jacob having sex with 4 women and bringing forth the 12 tribes. Good descent. Bam.
Does that mean that every time you have sex with your wife and when you come to nut, you got a nut in her?
No, that doesn't mean
Okay.
The Catholic Church will teach you that you can only have sex to procreate. That's a lie. The Lord gave you sex for pleasure. Okay, you can have pleasurable sex. You can have sex just to have pleasure and not to have babies, but also have babies. You see what I'm saying? Okay, simple, plain and simple. Great question. That's a good question. That's 21.
That was 21.
Give me numbers 18 and 23. This guy is an idiot. This guy is an idiot, and we're gonna prove it. So he's saying that to be unclean is a sin. You know why he's saying that? Number one, because he's an idiot. Okay. And again, like I said in the beginning, he doesn't understand the functions of the Levitical rites or rituals. He doesn't understand it. So because he doesn't understand it, he's straining at it and twisting and wrestling with it and trying to make uncleanness synonymous with sin, when ceremonial uncleanness or ritual uncleanness is different from sin. Okay, it's not sin to be ceremonially unclean. All right, I'll show you an example. Were there pigs in Israel?
Yes.
Yes, there had to be. Why? Because do pigs have a job?
Yeah, they eat the trash.
They eat the trash. So does a brother have to then handle a pig? If there's pigs in Israel, somebody's got to be in charge of handling that pig, right or wrong.
Right.
So he makes himself unclean if he touches that pig. But did he sin? No. What about dead people? Do we have to have a mortician? Touching a pig, period, is unclean. Period. All animals, you'll be unclean. All animals that are unclean, are not made unclean just by virtue of touching it, but a pig you are. You see what I'm saying? Certain animals, if you just touch it, or if you're a fisherman, you're unclean. You see what I'm saying? A mortician, somebody's got to bury our dead bodies, right? They're unclean. Does that mean they sinned? No, of course not. It just means, this is what it means when you're ceremonially unclean. So not Aria. What the hell is that?
Bearded dragon, the little lizards.
An iguana?
The lizards that look like they got a beard.
It's like an iguana.
Something like that. Yeah.
I don't believe so. I have to look in Leviticus 11 to let you know. I don't believe so. They're unclean to eat of a certainty, but maybe not to touch the cat.
We're not commanded not to touch them, though. It gives us
certain animals we're commanded not to touch at all.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We're not supposed to touch certain animals at all. Certain animals we can touch, we just can't eat.
Commanded not to eat them, but then it says if you come across a carcass of one, then you're unclean for such and such.
But also, even just touching certain animals brings uncleanness.
But I'm saying, like, even let's say like a coming across a dead pig. Like, does the scripture say like that? The way that it says, "Thou shalt not eat the swine," because it even though it divided
it doesn't say thou shalt not.
It doesn't say.
It just says if you touch it, you're unclean.
You're unclean. So
exactly.
Like,
that's not a sin.
So that's what it's speaking about.
It's not a thou shalt. Yeah.
Not to do it. It's just saying if you do, then you are now separated from the congregation. If so, you wanted to bring your sacrifice. If there was a feast, things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? You're not separated. So it wouldn't be a transgression.
It's not a transgression. You're not transgressing the law. Sin is transgression of the law. It's not a thou shalt not. So doing so is not transgression. So
how do you get clean if you accidentally touch it? Because like in the food service or whatever.
Yes, sir.
You don't know what's touching what.
Yeah, exactly.
They touch everything on everything. So if pork touch it, how do you get it?
You're unclean. You're unclean until the next day, until eating. The next day you'll be clean. You know what I'm saying? Wash your body in water and you'll be clean again. Marakai.
How do you know touching pig, you're unclean, ceremonially unclean?
Ceremonially unclean. Start eating. That's a sin now, eating it, because we shouldn't. Thou shalt not eat it. Touching it just makes you unclean. You see what I'm saying? So, and we're going to demonstrate it now here in Numbers 18 and 23. Because these, like the brother said, uncleanliness just means you can't bring your sacrifice to the congregation. You can't go to the temple and go in front of the priest and say, here's this goat, after you just touch a pig, after you just had sex. You're going to have to wait until even. Then you can bring it to the even sacrifice, because there's an evening sacrifice, right? But you can't do it during the daytime or in that evening time, from the Hebraic day, from sundown to sundown, if you came in contact with a pig or ejaculate. Simple as that. If you're a Levitical priest and you're executing the priest's office and you ejaculate, you got to wait until the next day to come back to work. I mean, it's just that simple. It's not a sin. This guy's an idiot. Bayan.
All right, so back then we had to do sacrifices, bring certain sacrifices and offerings there. And if you touched the pig and you were unclean, you couldn't bring a sacrifice. So nowadays, if I'm unclean, what does this hinder me from being able to do?
Well, it depends on what type of uncleanliness you are. If you are unclean,
about the pig.
If by a pig, it wouldn't hinder you from doing anything. Honestly, we don't have these types of rituals going on to where that would hinder you. The only thing that would hinder you is contact with a dead body, sleeping with a woman on her menstrual, okay, which it says anybody who does that shall be cut off from the congregation. There's one more thing: a dead body, sleeping with a woman on her menstrual, or if you yourself had a running issue.
Yeah.
Okay, which who knows what a running issue is? Not Marakai.
Oh, that's like, what is this?
Huh? A running issue. Who knows what a running issue? He knows because I went over this with him. Marakai bring it home for running issue? Like gonorrhea.
Media.
You have the drip, as they call it. That's what you would call a running issue. If you have that, you would have to remain outside. Don't come to camp. Don't come to class until that's cleared up.
I got one more question.
You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
You say cut off the congregation. What if you sleep with a female? You know what I'm saying? That female don't tell you that she wants to.
As soon as you find out, you would have to stop, but you would definitely be cut off from the congregation.
So
Four.
does that mean like you don't? That now you have no chance of being able to lecture?
No. This is what I'm saying. It's not being cut off from the congregation. This is a temporary thing. This is just during the time of your purification. It's not as serious as dudes are making it.
How long would you be cut off?
7 days. Or if you yourself have a running issue, then it would be until it's done.
So basically, like you have to explain to your lady when she comes off, hey, you got to make sure that you all way off. Like if today's your last day, I'm gonna wait 3 or 4 more days before you know.
Yeah, because even in the case with a woman, she has to wait a week until she, like the way it worked for a woman is usually she would have a woman has a period about 7 days. Before she could come to the congregation, she'll have to wait another 7 days to even come. You see what I'm saying? Even in the case of if a woman has a child, it says if it's a man child, she shall be separated 7 days, like unto her purification, like she was on her period. Then days are added unto that on top of it. Same with a woman child is double that. You see what I'm saying? So even when her uncleanness is over, there's still a period of time she has to wait for. Zanak, you had some?
What scripture can I go to where it talks about everything that could get you cut off from Israel?
It's all over the law. There's not one scripture that just talks about all of it. You have to read Leviticus, you have to read Deuteronomy, you have to read Numbers, you have to read Exodus. You see what I'm saying? Not just one place. We're gonna read a couple of them now. You see what I'm saying? So get that in Numbers out 15. You got that out?
Yeah.
Numbers 15 and 38.
1538?
Yes, sir.
Or you mean 1823?
1823, Salaki. That's I don't know what I'm thinking about 15 and 38. Go ahead.
This is Numbers 18 and 23. But the Levites shall do the service of the tabernacle of the congregation.
So, number one, this is what it's all about. The uncleanness is all about the service of the tabernacle of the congregation. Read.
And they shall bear their iniquity. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations, that among the children of Israel they have no inheritance.
So this is what the Levites do. It's all about the tabernacle. All right. So now let's go to Leviticus 15 and 16. Read 16 to 19 in Leviticus 15.
This is Leviticus 15 and 16. And if any man's seed of compilation go out from him.
Okay, if you nut, read.
Then he shall wash all his flesh in water.
Then take a shower, read.
And be unclean until the evening.
And you're unclean until, meaning don't bring a sacrifice to the tabernacle until the next day. I mean, it's not a sin. It didn't say thou shalt not bust a nut. That's not in the Bible. It just says if you do, wait till the new day, then bring your sacrifice. Don't do it after you just did that. Clean, purify yourself, then come before. Right, read.
And every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of compilation shall be washed with water.
Wash it. Just wash up. Read.
And be unclean until the even.
Just until the next day, not forever. Read.
The woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of compilation. They shall both bathe themselves in water.
Take a shower. Read.
And be unclean until the even.
Until the even, not forever, until the even. Read the 19. Go ahead.
And if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood.
If she has her period, read.
she shall be put apart 7 days, and whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean until the even.
Shall be unclean until the even. Same thing. Now she's put apart 7 days. If you touch her, you just until the even. You see that? Read.
And everything.
And also these laws cut these niggas that's talking about the Hebrew day starts at sunrise. Remember we was dealing with that. Why is it telling you you're unclean until even?
Yeah, it tells you to pay for shit before the sun goes down.
Yeah.
And they couldn't explain that. It was a big debate, a big Facebook post about it. And they couldn't explain why you were unclean until sundown or why you had to pay for shit before sundown.
They're just people just want to make up new doctrines. That's all. That's all it is. Go ahead.
It's a lot. It says, and everything that she lieth upon in her separation shall be unclean. Everything also that she sitteth upon shall be unclean.
So she's sitting. You mean to tell me that the Most High ordained this woman to have a period, and it's sin? It's just a sin to have a period because she's unclean. That's retarded. It's not her fault that she's dispensing an egg that didn't get fertilized. How is that possibly a woman's fault for that? That's stupid, right? So read.
And whosoever toucheth her bed shall wash his clothes.
And all right, read.
And bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even. And whosoever toucheth anything that she sat upon shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even.
I mean, it's simple. You just take a shower and, come back tomorrow. Okay, that's it on that.
Yeah, that's it.
Let's go to Leviticus 21. Read 21, 1 to 3. Byron. Leviticus 21, read 1 to 3.
This is the book of Leviticus 21 and 1. And the Most High said unto Moses, speak unto the priests, the sons of Aaron.
Read on.
And say unto them,
read.
There shall none.
Now, before we read this, again, Sirach 15 and 20. The Lord commanded no man to do evil. Remember that. Read.
There shall be none be defiled for the dead among his people.
For the dead, right? What does that mean? Going around a dead body, you become unclean, you become defiled. The Most High said, there shall be none. Read.
But for his kin that is near unto him.
But for your near kinsman, read.
That is for his mother.
A high priest. For his mom, read.
And for his father.
For his dad, read.
And for his son.
For his son, read.
And for his daughter.
For his daughter, read.
And for his brother.
For his brother, read.
And for his sister, a virgin.
His sister, a virgin, read.
That is nigh unto him. Which had no husband.
Read.
For her may he be defiled.
So wait a minute. The Lord said, if it's your close family, you can make yourself unclean. So he, according to this guy, he's the Most High is giving a license to sin. This is what he's saying. The Lord is giving a license, which of course we already read. He's never given anybody a license to sin, right? So this dude is saying that the Levitical priest had a license to sin that they didn't have because he just simply doesn't know the Bible at all. It's not a sin. It's just you're just unclean. Meaning a Levitical priest is supposed to be in the temple doing these things, giving these sacrifices. If this happens, then what? He's not able to do his job for that day. But if a dead body, he's not able to do his job for a week. You see what I'm saying? Most High said if it be somebody close in your family, you can go ahead and do that, defile yourself, take a week off, then come back into it, you'll be all right. Plain and simple. Right? That's it on that. To 3. Okay, let's go to Slakia. Let's go to Numbers 9 and 7. Just gonna go through the law, plain and simple. So this dude don't know what he's talking about. Like the brother Cap Tazamah made a great point. It's not transgression of the law, which that's what sin is. So for you to say that, you would have to substantiate the law is being transgressed, and you can't do it. Right? So go ahead.
This is Numbers 9 and 7. And those men said unto him, we are defiled by the dead body of a man.
So they said, what?
We are defiled by the dead body of a man.
That's what defiles you. The dead body of a man will defile you. That is what was being talked about in Leviticus 21. The dead body of somebody. That renders you ceremonially unclean. So read that.
It says, wherefore are we kept back that we may not offer an offering unto the Most High.
That's all. See that? And so just so if there's ever any confusion about what it means to be unclean, he says, we are defiled. That's why we can't offer an offering to the Lord, because we are defiled. That's plain and simple. That's all it's talking about. Read it again.
It says, wherefore are we kept back, that we may not offer an offering of the Most High in his appointed season among the children of Israel.
You see that? We cannot go into the congregation and offer an offering because we are defiled with the dead body. Plain and simple. So uncleanliness is not sin. It's just prohibits you from going and bringing a sacrifice before the altar. Of course, we don't have a physical temple right now. So a lot of this stuff doesn't even come into play because of our disposition in captivity, right? Let's keep going. Let's go to Leviticus 12 now. Let's go to Leviticus 12 and 1 to 4. And we're going to show you how dumb this dude is.
It's the book of Leviticus 12 and 1. It says, and the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if a woman have conceived seed.
So woman have conceived seed, meaning a man ejaculated into this woman and fertilized her egg, read.
And born a man child.
And had a man, read.
Then she shall be unclean 7 days.
She's unclean. 7 days, read.
According to the days of the separation. For her infirmity shall she be unclean.
Read on.
And in the 8th day.
She's unclean. A woman have a baby, she's unclean. So by his logic now, it's a sin to have a baby, which he basically said, right? But we're going to follow that same line of logic real quick. Read.
It says, and in the 8th day, the flesh of his foreskin shall be circumcised.
Go ahead.
And she shall then continue in the blood of her purifying 3 and 30 days. She shall touch no hollow thing.
You see that? No hollow thing. Didn't say she shall touch anything. She shall touch no hollow thing. What is a hollow thing? Holy, but what would be a hollow thing? I mean, it's a hollow thing, but what is a hollow thing? What would be a hollow thing that a common person in Israel would touch? A sacrifice. A regular person in Israel would die touching the altar. If you don't come from the seed of Aaron and you touch that altar, you'll die. Most High said it. You see what I'm saying? They're not touching the things in the temple. If you're not a Levite, you're not going in the temple just touching stuff. That's death. But you are touching the sacrifice that is being hallowed to Yahweh to atone for your sins. You are touching that. She can't touch that. You see what I'm saying? She can't touch your goat or your ram or your turtle dove that's being brought for sacrifice because she's unclean. That's all being unclean has to do with. You coming into contact with things that are hallowed or sacrifices to the Most High. That's all it has to do with. Go ahead.
Nor come into the sanctuary until the days of her purifying be fulfilled.
Nor come into the sanctuary. No, go. She can't. If you got a wife and she just gave birth, and you're saying, all right, I'm gonna take this ram to the temple to be a sacrifice. If she touches that ram can't be sacrificed, right? So that's that part. Then it says, or come into the sanctuary. She can't go into the sanctuary and offer anything for herself at all. That's what it means. Plain and simple, precept upon precept in the law. Read.
It says, but if she bear a maid child, then she shall be unclean 2 weeks.
A longer period of time. But it's 2 types of uncleanlinesses here. 1 week and 2 weeks, and then an additional time. Watch, read.
It says, as in her separation, and she shall continue in the blood of her purifying 66 days.
Meaning what?
3 months.
66 days. That's 66 days. So yeah, about 2 months. 2 months, about 6 weeks. 2 months and 6 days. But there's 2 different types of separations. There's the initial separation, like it's her period, and then there's the separation after that, right? So the point after the first week in the case of a man, or the first 2 weeks in the case of a woman, all the rest of that is not the same type of uncleanliness. It's all ceremonially uncleanliness, right? Just like a woman, period, if she has her period, she has to wait 7 days until she's ceremonially clean after the end of her period, right? But during that week after she's done bleeding, can you have sex with that girl?
After the week?
No. After the week, when she's unclean ceremonially for that week, can you have sex with her?
If she's is she on a menstruation or pregnant?
You said no. I'm talking about if she's on her period. She's unclean for an additional week ceremonially. Can you have sex during that week? She's not bleeding. Yes, you can have sex with her. She's not bleeding. You just can't. She can't go to the temple, but you can still pop her. That's not. You can still have sex with her. So the question there in mind brings, during the pregnancy purification, after the first week or 2 weeks in the case of a woman, could you have sex with her?
No.
Why not?
It's 66 days.
No, that's ceremonial.
Oh.
That's not.
You can't take the bride to the temple in the festivity.
That's it. But if you can be at the house and you can do your thing, and just like when any other time, until you can't go nowhere, or you could go somewhere, but you couldn't go to the temple until sun come down. That's all it means. It's a difference between the ceremonial uncleanness. It's just levels. It's a levels to everything.
If you dealt with her early that day, you can't go to the temple until later on that evening.
Boom, exactly. Okay. Boom. That's all. Yeah, that's all that would be on you. As with her, it's something different. You see what I'm saying? She can't go into the end, and then at the end of that time, she would bring a sacrifice to the temple, sacrifice her doves and all of that various things, just like with anything, right? So go ahead. Or that was 4.
That was 5.
Okay, let's go to Luke now, 2 and 22 to 24. So now, he made a statement on this brother's comment board on Facebook and said that Yahushua was never ceremonially unclean. And of course, he believes in a virgin birth, right, Deacon?
I'm not sure, but he believes
I'm almost certain.
Angels can have sex.
I most likely believe that. I don't know it of a certainty, but I believe that this it works with his premise. People say that Yahushua was not born through what they call lustful sex or through sin, right? If that's the case, explain this. Read.
You want to start 21?
22.
22. It says, this is Luke 2 and 22. And when the days of her purification.
Wait, so why did Mary have to be purified? That means that somebody ejaculated into her. That's why she had to be purified. Period. That's the only reason she would need to be purified. So Yahushua has to be unclean according to this man's logic. You're Messiah. So he was born in sin? I thought he wasn't born in sin. You see how stupid these people are? How much just nonsense comes out of their damn mouth? This Luke 2 and 22 to 24. Right? Read on.
It says,
stop trying to go so deep, Israel. Niggas don't even got the fundamental parts of the law down and is trying to go into Kabbalah and God knows what. Just deal. It's all right here. Bayan.
Grab that meat, you know what I'm saying, and get all thrown out of order.
Yeah, meat. This nigga having some tofu. He's not even dealing with meat. He made a dish up. You see what I'm saying? It's not even a real food he's eating. He's eating the plastic rice. Hey, giving a Levi right now. Good Lord, using a water cabbage. You see what I'm saying? It's soy sauce. Disgusting, right? Go ahead.
It says, and when the days of her purification, according to the law of Moses.
Oh, wait. According to the law of Moses, if she conceive a seed through a man ejaculating into her, she got to be purified due to uncleanliness, right? So by that same logic, if a child is born through that mechanism, it would be unclean. Yahushua would then be unclean according to them. Go ahead.
Were accomplished.
Which he said Yahushua was never. This man made a definitive statement on Deacon Hakaz's comment board that Yahushua was never ceremonially or ritually unclean. Go ahead.
They brought him.
This proves that's a lie. We're going to prove how much more of a lie is further. Read.
They brought him to Jerusalem to present him to the Most High.
That's right.
You want me to keep going to 25?
No, that's all right. So now let me go to Hebrews 13 and 4. He said that the reason why beds are defiled is because of semen. He said that your marriage bed is defiled if you spill semen in it. Let's see what the Bible has to say about that. God, man, I just don't get it.
This is Hebrews 13:4.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage is honorable in all.
Marriage is honorable. Having sex with your wife and ejaculating into your wife is honorable, thus saith the Lord. Read.
It says, and the bed undefiled.
And it's undefiled. How is the bed defiled? Let's find out. Keep reading.
But whoremongers and adulterers.
Through whoring and adultery. That's how a bed is defiled. It said it. It said the bed undefiled. But whoremongers and adulterers, who would be what? Defiled marriage beds. Read.
God will judge.
God's going to judge them. It didn't say guys that nut. Skeeters. That ain't in the Bible for who's going to get judged. Whoremongers and adulterers. That's who's going to get judged. Right? If I don't recall. A whoremonger is a pimp or a hoe. All right? That's a whoremonger. Somebody who makes money. A monger means a salesperson. Whore. You sell whores. Either you sell yourself or you're selling somebody else. That's a whoremonger. So pimping and whoring and committing adultery, you're going to get judged for any of that. But having sex with your wife, that's a beautiful thing, and it's ordained by God, and it's not defiled. So again, the Bible is proving him a lie. Now give me 1 John 3:9. We're going to go to another one of the premises of this evil, scripturally retarded nigga. All right, we'll go into some more of his premise, his false premise and pretense that he did his whole video off of.
The book of 1 John, chapter 3, verse 9. Whosoever is born of God.
That's what he said. Now listen, y'all listen close. Now read.
Doeth not commit sin.
You don't commit sin if you're born of God, man. Read.
For his seed remaineth in him.
You see, his seed remaineth, meaning he don't nut. His seed remaineth in him. Read.
And he cannot sin.
He cannot sin because man, you got blue balls, brother. You can't sin with blue balls. Blue is blue.
So you're now a priest.
The priest in your testicle to testify. Gird up thy loins.
Gird up your loins, brother.
This is the type of man this niggas is teaching, right? So now watch, finish that. I'm gonna show you. Now it sounds good, right? His seed is in him. He doesn't sin because he's got blue balls, right? Go ahead.
Because he is born of God.
Go ahead, finish 9.
That was on 9.
Give me Galatians 3:16. Let's see what it means. Your seed is in him. His seed is in him. Let's see what that means. I read this. I said, "Oh, this nigga, he got something, huh?" I can't wait to go. I'm sitting up last night. I couldn't wait to get here tonight and do this damn video. I said, "This nigga think he got it down pat, huh?" Most High gonna knock the wind out of that nigga's sails. Yeah. Go ahead.
It's Galatians 3:16. Now to Abraham and his seed.
And to Abraham and his seed, read.
Where the promise is made.
Why would it be made to the unclean seed? Read.
He saith not into seeds as of many.
Read on.
But as of one.
As of one, read.
Into thy seed.
Read.
Which is Christ.
Thy seed is Christ. So when it says and Christ in him, it's meaning Christ is abiding in you. You cannot sin because Christ abides in you. That's what it means when it says his seed, meaning God's seed is in him. Yahweh Shai abideth in you. That's what that means. That don't mean you have blue balls, okay? Don't let this nigga trick you off the streets. Read it one more time.
This is Galatians 3:16. Now to Abraham and his seed, where the promise is made.
Read.
He said not into seeds as of many, but as of one.
As of one, read.
And to thy seed, which is Christ.
Which is Christ. The seed is Christ. So his seed in him is Yahweh Shai abiding in you. Okay, that's all that means. Let's now go to Mark 5:25. He said Yahweh Shai was never ceremonial or ritually unclean. We already disproved that with Luke 2. We're going to further prove it. You know what he might say? Well, that was before the age of accountability. He was a kid. All right, well, that's fine. Let's see when he's a grown man, after he's been baptized, ministering and teaching in the streets. Let's see if Yahweh Shai was ever ceremonially unclean. Let's find out. Go ahead.
Mark 5:25. And a certain woman which had an issue of blood 12 years.
Read it 28, read.
And had suffered many things of many physicians.
Many physicians, read.
And had spent all that she had and was nothing better, but rather grew worse. when she had heard of Jesus, Yahweh
That's right.
came in the press behind and touched his garment. For she said, if I may touch but his clothes, I shall be whole.
Right. If I but touch but his clothes, I shall be whole. She says, read.
It says, and straightway the fountain of her blood was dried up.
So wait a minute. She touched his clothes. This woman who was blood was running, right? Touched his clothes. Read.
And she felt in her body that she was healed of that plague.
Where you at? 28?
29.
Let's go to Leviticus 15 and 19. So she touched his garment, bleeding, right? See what the Bible said.
This is Leviticus 15 and 19.
We just read it. Go ahead.
And if a woman have an issue, and her issue in her flesh be blood, she shall be put apart 7 days, and whosoever toucheth her shall be unclean.
If you come into contact with this woman, you're unclean. When she reached out and touched his garment, he became unclean ceremonially.
No, that's right, brother.
Yahweh Shai.
Good point.
I know what I said. Ooh,
Yeah.
So
when she touched his garment,
His garment is unclean.
His garment, yeah.
He is on him, so it's touching him. She's touching the garment. He's in the garment. He's unclean. So for him to say that he was never ceremonially unclean and have that to be part of his premise, that's out the window, right? And we go further. It's even more out the window in the same chapter. Let's go back to Mark and read the 41st verse. Mark 5 and 41. Tazama, get Numbers 19 and 11 for me, please.
This is Mark chapter 5, verse 41. And he took the damsel by the hand and said unto her, which that Talitha cumi, which is be interpreted damsel.
Talathia Kwamya, I believe. Rise. He's telling her to rise. Read.
It says, I say unto thee, arise.
So he grabbed this dead girl's hand and said words in Hebrew to her. She's dead. Give me Numbers 19 and 11.
Numbers 19 and 11. He that toucheth the dead body of any man shall be unclean 7 days.
Yahweh Shai made himself unclean. 2 times in one chapter, he was ceremonially made unclean. Numbers 19 and 11, and in Mark 5 and 41. So he was made ceremonially unclean in one chapter, one from touching a girl who was had an extended period, the other one from touching a dead girl. He cured both of them, but he touched them when they were in their disposition, when they were unclean. Therefore, what? He was made unclean ceremonially. Did that mean he sinned? Of course, we know he didn't sin. But that means that night he couldn't offer a sacrifice, which he wasn't going around sinning anyway. So why would he be going and offering a sacrifice anyway? You see that? Nigga is stupid. Okay, that's all that means. Nigga don't know the Bible. Plain and simple.
I wonder if Old Testament niggas don't do that.
What?
Yeah, Mark 5 and 41. Just Mark 5 itself.
As far as what?
Old Testament saying basically saying Yahweh Shai did sin.
No, I know.
You know that the Old Testament can't.
No, but yeah, Old Testament, they ain't gonna be dumb enough to say making himself unclean is sin, because that's just retarded. You see what I'm saying? Nobody could. It's really becoming unclean is something that's unavoidable. You see what I'm saying? You're going to become unclean at various points in your life, and there's nothing wrong with it. You know what I mean? Watch this. Watch this too, though. Hold on 1 second. For separation. Hold on. Whosoever tells you. Keep reading. Keep reading that Numbers. I want you to read down all the way to 15. All the way to 15. Because let's see if they play a game. Right? Keep reading. In 19. Tazama. Read all the way back. Start back at 12 in Numbers 19 and read all the way down to 15 in case a game gets played.
Start at 12?
Start at 12.
Numbers 19 and 12. He that purifieth himself with it on the 3rd day, and on the 7th day he shall be clean. But if he purify not himself the 3rd day, then the 7th day he shall not be clean. Whosoever toucheth the dead body of any man that is dead, and purify not himself, defileth the tabernacle of the Lord.
It's all about the tabernacle or the temple. That's what it's all about. Again, emphasizing that point. Read on.
And that's.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
It says, and that soul shall be cut off from Israel, because the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him. He shall be unclean. His uncleanness is yet upon him. This is the law.
Salaki, we'll get it. Go ahead. Salaki, read that again, my fault.
It says, whosoever touches the dead body of any man that is dead and purified not himself, defileth the tabernacle of the Lord.
You defile the tabernacle, read, because it's all about the Levitical ordinances of you bringing the sacrifice into the temple. If you didn't go through the proper purification process and you intended to bring a sacrifice, you would defile the temple. The Lord would not accept your offering. All right, that's all it means. Read.
And that soul shall be cut off from Israel, because the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him.
Because you ain't washed yourself. Read.
It says, because sprinkled upon him, he shall be unclean. His uncleanness is yet upon him. This is the law when a man dieth in a tent.
Dieth in a tent. Yahushua went into the tent that this girl was in, right? Remember that, because the mother might say, well, when he touched her, she became alive, but he touched her and said something, and then she became alive. But let's say that's true. All right, cool. It says if you come into a tent where somebody died, read, where a dead body was, read.
All that come into the tent, and all that is in the tent shall be unclean 7 days.
All that come into the tent. So he came into the tent. Him just walking in there where that dead body was made him ceremonially unclean. Go ahead.
And every one vessel which have no covering bound upon it,
meaning if you got the water open like that, this water is unclean. Throw it out. But if it's shut, it's good water. Drink it, right? Read.
And whosoever touches one that is slain with a sword in open fields, or a dead body.
That's 15?
This is 16.
That's it. That's all I need. Okay, bring that to me, please. Zanat.
So, would that mean, like, if somebody get like, so somebody like dies right in front of you, you're unclean?
Yeah. So just walking to a funeral, just walking into the room, you're unclean.
Wow. To the brother Stavorius, and again, the whole point of this has to do with the functions of the Levitical priesthood and the physical temple and tabernacle. Okay, so this is not in application to classroom settings. The only thing you may be able to apply it to would be high holy days. But even in the case of high holy days, when we see in Numbers, even if you're defiled by a dead body on Passover, you still will come to pass. You still can come to Passover defiled because of how important Passover is to keep. So this is not something that is in application to. We don't have a temple. We're not burning sacrifices. So this is not applicable in these instances now. You see what I'm saying?